than no deal at all. Justin Rolat, BBC News.
And just to say, the findings for the House Committee into the January 6th Capitol attack, they'll be revealed in just over half an hour. We'll have it all here on BBC World News.
Now on BBC World News, the biggest African and international news stories. Focus on Africa.
This is Focus on Africa. I'm Lukwesa, Burak. Our top stories. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa is re-elected leader of the ruling ANC party, despite corruption allegations, putting him on course for a second five-year term. The UK's controversial policy to send asylum seekers to Rwanda is legal, following a High Court ruling 3 months after deportation flights were put on hold. Also in the programme, addressing historic injustices, the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte has apologised for the Netherlands' involvement in slavery, calling it a crime against humanity. And in the sport, Nigeria and Benin put in a bid to co-host the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Hello and welcome to a new week of Focus on Africa, coming to you from BBC World News. Now, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has been re-elected leader of the ruling African National Congress at a party leadership contest over the weekend. He fought a close race against his former health minister, Zweli Mkhize, who he forced to resign amid corruption allegations during the COVID-19 pandemic. He's denied any wrongdoing. So this was the moment those results were announced.
For Comrade Mkhize's
Now, the UK's deal to send failed asylum seekers to Rwanda has been given the green light after a High Court in London ruled in its favour. The deal was part of the British government's strategy to discourage people who arrive in what it calls illegal and dangerous ways, like small boats. But NGOs who had challenged the policy in the court believe the proposal is cruel and futile. I'm joined now by the BBC's political correspondent, Rob Watson, who's been covering the story for us. So, Rob, I wonder if we could just start off with, legally, how was this decision made? How do you understand it? OK, Rob Watson, thank you very much for that. Thank you. OK, some other news in brief now here on Focus on Africa. And in Nigeria, at least 20 people have died and 30 are in hospital due to an outbreak of cholera across 10 villages in Nigeria's southern Cross River state. Most of the deaths occurred between the 15th and the 17th of December. The state government has deployed more healthcare personnel and material resources to bring the outbreak under control. The affected villages are in the Abi local government area of the state and are grappling with a shortage of safe drinking water and access to proper sanitation. In Canada, countries taking part in the UN Biodiversity Conference, COP15, have agreed to a total of 23 targets. Governments have pledged that at least 30% of the world's land, inland waters, coastal areas and oceans will come under conservation in the next 8 years. Delegates from a few African nations suggested that developed nations should provide resources to developing nations to help aid their conservation efforts. A second woman has died after being injured in a crush at a gig at London's Brixton O2 Academy. The Metropolitan Police says Gabrielle Hutchinson, who was 23 and was working for one of the security providers at the venue, died during the crush. The concert by Afro-pop singer Ashake was announced part-way after a large number of people tried to force their way inside on Thursday. It comes after the death of mother of two, Rebecca Ukumelo, who was 33, on Saturday. Well, stay with us because still to come we've got all the sport, and Mimi will be joining us here in the studio as the World Cup winners Argentina travel back to Buenos Aires with the World Cup trophy. Now, the Netherlands has made an historic apology for its historical role in the transatlantic slave trade, describing it as a crime against humanity. Speaking from The Hague earlier, the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte acknowledged the suffering caused, and which continues today, by the trade in more than 600,000 Africans over a period of 250 years. Mr. Rutte admitted the nation had enabled, encouraged and profited from the practice in which human lives were commodified and exploited. For example, Amsterdam, built off the back of slaves, is home to the world's first stock exchange, which was founded in part to trade shares in industries based on slavery. Now, in 1873, the Netherlands became one of the last countries to formally abolish slavery, and recently has been having an uncomfortable reckoning with its dark colonial history. But not everyone has welcomed today's apology with open arms. The BBC's Anna Holligan has this report. Well, I'm joined now by Kawan Fatah-Black, who is an expert in Dutch colonial history at the University of Leiden in the Netherlands. Thank you for joining us here on Focus on Africa. The Dutch colonial story is not one many people are fully aware of. What is its legacy today? Okay, Kawan Fatah-Black, thank you so much for that. Very informative. Thank you. Okay, we're going to catch up with the sport now, and she's back. Hey, Mimi, welcome back.
Thanks very much, Lukwesa. Now, Nigeria and Benin have submitted a joint bid to stage the Africa Cup of Nations in 2025, so joining Algeria, Morocco and Zambia in having expressed an interest in hosting the finals. Three-time African champions Nigeria are looking to stage for the third time, having co-hosted with Ghana. And that's all the sport, Lukwesa.
Mimi, thank you very much indeed, thank you. And don't forget, you can get hold of both of us on social media at Mimosa Fawaz, and I am at Lukwesa Burak. We'll see you tomorrow with more. Bye-bye.
Hello there. Extremely cold Arctic air is affecting western and central regions of Canada at the moment.